everybody, welcome back to more turnings on this cold January morning. Happy New Year to everybody. Today we're going to do a simple twist pen and letter opener set made out of old English oak. So without further ado, let's crack on and prepare the pen.
Get the lane up to the right speed, around about 2000 lane. I think that's as fine as we want to go now. We'll just start sanding down. A lot of ridges in this this oak, so let's hope we can sand them down quite a bit. And as usual, a quick sand up and down the grain so that it takes away a lot of the rings from turning it around. So that's the last grade of sanding. So we start using some sanding sealer now and then start polishing. So we first start with sanding sealer. This sanding sealer actually seals the sanding process and also puts a bit of shellac in it, ready to start the actual polishing process. Quick second layer of sanding sealer before we start the polishing process. You can see oak polishes up pretty quickly anyway. We'll now put a couple of layers of friction polish on, which will give it a nice protection and also a lovely sheen. So we'll see you when that's finished. Here we are, 3 or 4 layers of friction polish later. Just like to finish off with some carnauba wax for the final layer. That gives it that final shine and bit of protection. So let's get on with that. I'm going to polish that up. There we go, lovely shine. Let's get the lathe ready now to start putting the kit together. So that's the lathe converted to a pen press now. So I'd like to start with the nib first. Let's just prepare that. And push it firmly in and then start to tighten up. That's it. Making sure it's smooth and runs straight off the metal onto the wood, which it does in this case. And the next part is the twist mechanism, which we have to do slowly. They normally say take it down to the indented line, but I like to take it just before the line. And then what we do is we take our nib, tighten it up and twist to see how far it comes. Yep, that's good enough for me. Don't need to do any further. Next part of the pen is the central belt that goes round. This portion here, which sits over the top like that. This part of the pen slides on, but obviously needs the nib wrong, sorry, the clip and its holder in at the top. Right, so this is the part. That on, so all it's left to do now is join the two together, push that in, and now we have, oops, helps if we put a nib back in it. Nibs always come with a small bit of rubber on, so if you ever find any little bits on the end of your nib when you get a new pen, this is probably what it is. I think I've got most of the silicone off. Push that back in, back into the pen, and there we have a lovely simple twist pen in gold with or out of Old English Oak. Right, let's crack on now and do the matching paper knife. Hi, welcome back, and we're now going to start preparing for the letter opener. Come back once we've got the wood prepared and on the machine. Right, we've got the pen blank cut to size and in the chuck, and the appropriate drill bit is in there now. So we'll just now drill this blank ready to take the brass tube. Make sure we clear off the drill bit before we go all the way through. Okay, so that's the pen blank drilled, ready to take the tube. Right, so we now have the brass tube glued inside, and we have the barrel trimmer on the lathe. And the idea of this is to trim the wood on both sides back so it's level with the actual end of the wood. So we can see it's actually flush with the end of the brass barrel now. And you just do the same on the other side now. Right, so everything's set up on the pen mandrel, ready to start turning. However, one thing I have noticed is it's a 7mm barrel, but I don't actually have the bushings to fit this particular letter opener. As you know, the bushings go on the end, allow us to turn down to those bushings, which know it will fit perfectly on the end of this piece. As I don't have the bushings, what I'm going to do is take a measurement of this. So we're looking at about 35mm or thereabouts. So what I need to do is turn down, and every so often just check that I've got 35mm on the two ends, and both ends are the same. So let's go for it. So, all the right PPE on now, let's crack on with it. blank down to round, we'll start thinking about shaping it and, like I say, getting those down to the 35mm. So just check those ends, see how close we are to the 35mm. That's pretty good, we're already there at that end. And this side needs to come down a little. A bit more. Right, that'll do for now, because the sanding process will obviously take it down a little bit as well. So we'll crack on with the sanding now, start with the lowest grit and work our way up. As you've seen me do before, we then follow the grain to take some of the marks that have been left from the sanding when it's going circular, and then we move on to the next grid. Now we finish off with our final grit, which is 600. Alright, so that's the sanding process finished now. Just take off some of this PPE and we'll start doing the final touches and the polishing. Right, so we're all ready now. Obviously we start off with sanding sealer first. Sanding sealer will bring out the grains, etc. in it. Sanding sealer will obviously seal the wood, and also it's got a bit of shellac in it so that it actually allows it to polish up as well. So I'll give that a bit of a buff. That's only the first layer and it's already brought a bit of a shine on it. And then a second coat of sanding sealer. Friction polish on here, which has also got shellac in it. So this will just add, a bit like French polishing, just add layers and layers of polish. And with this, we like to buff it up with a bit of lint-free cloth. Obviously the reason it's called friction polish is the hotter it gets, it actually performs better. Right, another coat. Be enough for this. I like to finish off with a bit of carnauba wax, gives it a bit of protection and gives it that final shine. that's the final bit of wood polished. Just convert the lathe now into a pen press. Right, lathe converted. Now this is the same both sides, and it's a symmetrical piece, so it doesn't really matter which is the front and which is the back. Obviously when you've got really figured wood, then it might be relevant which side you use for top or bottom. Right, okay, let's start by getting this ready. As you can see with the micrometer, did pretty well there in getting it to the right size. So this is the top now of the letter opener. As this is flat and that's bobbled, the white one has a small indentation for taking circular things, so it's probably better off pushing it that way around. Stops anything getting dented. So there we go, that's both ends in. All we do now is take the knife part of it and screw it in. And there we go, finished paper knife in beautiful old English oak. Thank you.